They called it a conspiracy. They mocked you, silenced you, and banned you for saying it. But what you'll soon find out is that the so-called deep state was never just a theory. It was a coordinated operation. In this video, we break down the explosive revelations from Director of National Intelligence Tulsi Gabbard, who just confirmed what millions have suspected for years. The 2016 Russia hoax wasn't incompetence, it was sabotage. We're talking about Obama, Brennan, Comey, Clapper, all of them. And yes, she used the word treason, the T word. We'll talk you and walk you through every stunning detail. Let's get into it. Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So here's where we are. A moment of clarity, a breaking point. And as Tulsi Gabbard put it plainly, the road ahead will not be easy. That's not from some grifter on cable news. That's from the current Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She says the deep state is not a meme, it's not a theory, but it's a living, breathing thing. It's a machine embedded in the federal government, working around the clock to stop reform, because reform hurts it. This isn't just alarming, guys. It's a system that's shaking. What comes next could collapse everything. 5 months ago, Tucker Carlson warned that the deep state fears Tulsi Gabbard. And now we know why. Give it a watch.
The lengths to which permanent Washington is going to, say, sabotage Tulsi Gabbard, who's an Army officer who's had a clearance for more than a decade, carries an automatic weapon. I mean, clearly we trust her with America's, defense. Why can't we trust her with America's secrets? Well, of course we can. So what is this? And it really is, people are panicked that what they've been doing is going to come to light, I think.
Well, they should be panicked because if you read the executive order on the weaponization of government, it specifically empowers the Director of National Intelligence to conduct a wide-ranging report into the possible misdeeds of the entire intelligence community and orders her to come up with, anything negative that they can find.
Holy shit.
So can you imagine?
No!
Right? That's like trying to make a list of everything. She'll be doing it from now to the end of time.
And Tulsi said, I feel the same frustration that many of you are expressing. Why aren't things moving faster? Why don't we have results yet? I feel that frustration every single day. So you're not crazy. You're not alone. That's what she's telling you. Despite the resistance, she says patriots are still pushing. Tulsi Gabbard went on Sean Hannity to expose all of this, what she had put on X. And this is the part where she explains what she declassified and she lays out what the Obama administration did. This is a bombshell. Give it a watch.
Here to give us all the details and bring us up to speed with reaction, the Director of National Intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard. She declassified this report yesterday, has many more details. I have this creation of the Russia hoax that you put out on X, that you posted on X, and I'll put it up as you're speaking here. What is amazing to me as I've gone through this cache of documents you've released is they concluded just the opposite. They concluded there was no problem. And then all of it, that was the rank and file. These were career people in the intel community. They gave honest assessments.
We've always said that back then, the rank and file were the good people of the FBI and the intelligence community. It was always the leadership.
All of a sudden, it ends up in the hands of the leadership, the deep state, as we call them. And what happened to it? Can you explain what the process and what these documents reveal?
Yeah, thank you so much, Sean. This is such an important issue, and I just want to start by saying that this is an issue that is important to every single one of us as Americans. This is not a partisan issue. It has to do with the integrity and the strength of our democratic republic. And it lays out this over 100 documents that you're referencing that I released, declassified and released, spells out in great detail exactly what happens when you have some of the most powerful people in our country directly leading at the helm, President Obama and his senior-most national security cabinet, James Comey, John Brennan, James Clapper, and Susan Rice and others, essentially making a very intentional decision to create this manufactured, politicized piece of intelligence with the objective of subverting the will of the American people, who in November of 2016 delivered a historic victory to President Trump, defeating Hillary Clinton. And President Obama and his team, their goal was to essentially not accept the decision of the American people and to use this manufactured, politicized intelligence as a means to enact what would become essentially a years-long coup against President Trump.
Now, you guys remember after 2020 when Trump said they stole the election? Well, from then until right now, the Democrats kept screaming that Trump was an election denier, right? That he didn't like the outcome of the election because he lost. Trump never weaponized the federal government against anybody. And yet that's exactly what the Obama administration did. And it was all at the direction of Barack Obama. Now Tulsi goes on and discusses the ramifications of their actions. They destroyed a lot of lives. Give it a watch.
Gone into great detail over these years of what the effects of this document and this decision have resulted in. Obviously, a years-long Mueller investigation that cost taxpayers almost $40 million, 2 congressional impeachments, endless smears and attacks against not only President Trump, but his family. He had senior members of his team who were investigated, some arrested and jailed. We had heightened and increased tensions between the United States and Russia. The list goes on and on about the consequences of President Obama and his senior cabinet members politicizing intelligence once again, and I say these words very clearly, to enact what was essentially a years-long coup, subverting the will of the American people.
All right, guys, now pay attention to this part because this is the most damning part of all. This is where Tulsi actually explains how Obama and his administration committed treason. Give it a watch.
Reference this president's daily brief document that was drafted for President Obama in early December that reaffirmed what the intelligence community professionals, as you say, had been assessing for the previous 6 months leading up to the election, which was that Russia neither had the intent nor capability to essentially hack the outcome of the U.S. election.
So in other words, guys, the people, the rank and file, the people that do this for a living, okay, they analyzed it and told Obama there's no way Russia could have done it. They didn't have the capability. Now watch what happens next.
As you said, President Obama's political appointees pulled that document before it could be published, and it has not been published until we released it today.
So guys, in other words, Obama and all his minions that are constantly on TV making fun of Trump, saying there was nothing to it, that it was a credible threat and all that, they knew this assessment was written and they ignored it and they thought nobody would ever find it. Well, it's been found.
And the very next day after they pulled that document, President Obama called the National Security Council cabinet meeting to discuss how Russia interfered with the election. Again, this is the first
this
week
is
of December.
9th,
President
right?
Trump had already won. Correct.
This is the December 9th meeting.
That's exactly right. The December 9th meeting, we declassified and released what they called the summary of conclusions from that meeting. Then DNI James Clapper took the lead on what President Obama wanted done, and which was essentially create a document that tells us not if, but how Russia interfered with the election.
In other words, Obama ordered the people in intelligence to lie, to completely flip the script and lie.
President Obama delivered the conclusion that he wanted the intelligence community to reach, and
they all knew it was a lie. They all knew what the report said that they withheld.
Directed them to find and essentially create and manufacture the intelligence to support the conclusion that President Obama wanted to deliver to the American people. Once that document was drafted, the deep state kicked into gear and did what they usually do. They started leaking this classified information out to their friends at the Washington Post and others who are working hand in glove with the deep state to lay the groundwork for the assessment that they eventually released that served as the basis once again for this years-long coup with the goal of trying to subvert the American people's will and usurp President Trump from being able to deliver on the mandate that the American people gave to him when they chose to elect him as president of the United States.
Guys, remember how, election denier, he's an election denier after 2020? Well, they actually went in, denied the election results, and did everything in their power to get him out of power by making things up. Guys, that's treason. All right, so get ready, guys. The media's lies are about to escalate. The hit pieces are coming. You just know it. And that's how you'll know that it's working. Tulsi is right over target. She said the thing that stopped everyone cold. She confirmed what we've all whispered for years. Back in 2016, intel agencies weren't just corrupt. They were weaponized, bent by Obama officials to kneecap Trump before he even took office. Now, think about that. During the entire Russian hoax narrative, the media screamed that Trump enabled Russian interference. But he wasn't even president yet. He had no power. Every bit of that collusion they warned about, that happened under Barack Obama's watch. This is something that has always made me think. When the 2016 Russia collusion hoax was running, the left, which includes everyone from Democrats that are bootlicking sycophants in the fake news media, they were all blaming Donald Trump for allowing the Russians to interfere in the presidential election. Now, not one of these numbskulls ever let reality hit them in the face that Donald Trump had absolutely no power. What power did he have? He was nothing more than a political candidate running for president. So what power did he have to change anything in a government election? Nothing in the government. He had no power. So these so-called Russian collusion that took place throughout our government that they constantly told us happened under Barack Obama's watch. And yet no one to this day has ever looked at Obama this whole time. No one said to FBI Director James Comey under Obama, how could you have allowed this to happen? No one ever asked John Brennan, as the director of the CIA, should he keep his job because he had no idea that the Russians were infiltrating our presidential election. Of course, none of those things happened, which is why no one in the Obama administration ever asked those questions. But it also tells you something about the entire mainstream legacy media, that they never looked at Obama because they were likely in on it. They knew there was no Russian collusion. They wanted Hillary to win because they did not want Donald Trump to win and destroy the deep state that they spent so much time, money, and effort on creating. Tulsi laid it out like a prosecutor with receipts. Intelligence initially showed Russia had zero impact. Then came December 8th, 2016, a report confirming that fact, and it was about to go public. But the report was pulled. It was yanked. It was censored under Obama, by Obama. What happened next changed history. She just said on December 9th, they have all the documents, guys. On December 9th, after Trump was elected, Obama ordered a new intel assessment. The one that would do the job that he wanted. This one would flip the narrative. Suddenly, Russia helped Trump. And it didn't stop there. Comey and Brennan, now under investigation, were central players. Guys, this isn't about politics anymore. It's not. It's about protecting the republic. The system that was supposed to serve was hijacked. But now the truth is pouring out, and the truth is a powerful thing. They always say sunlight's the best disinfectant. Tulsi Gabbard lit the match. Now it's our job to carry the torch. Don't forget, guys, we knew all along that Barack Obama was behind all of this. And remember, Obama is the left's Ronald Reagan, if you will. This is why they threw everyone else under the bus to protect him. Now we have to expose him. Get this story out. Share this video with as many friends as you can. All right, thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next one.